all right. Hey, folks, what is going on? Let me ease the music down here and get our microphone lined up. Oh, I've got some fresh coffee I need to pour, so we're going to get this thing fired up here in a hot second. Hold on, guys. I'm almost with you. And I'm looking forward to today. All right, we got some fresh Java. We got some artwork we're gonna bang out this morning. I am looking forward to it. Let me fix my screen here for you guys real quick. And hey, what's up? My name's Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. My microphone is off alignment, and my chair has just lost hydraulics. We're making a new book cover. We're going to be, the next book we're publishing is going to be Martial Powers. It's Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. It is it's a bridge between the martial caster divide by giving martial characters a half-casting progression of spell points, just like half-casters, like the Ranger, Paladin, and Artificer have using the color mana system. And instead of casting spells, there's an entire array of martial powers, about 180 of them in total, that we have built. Hold on, I'm futzing with my screens. There we go. Bam. Okay, cool. We're in place. And let's see. Right now, we're working on these hills. That looks too drab. I needed more variety, so we're using this color reference down here to punch up some of the lighting. But in that process, I'm losing a little bit of definition, so I want to make sure that everything's being treated nicely. So I'm going to go into here with a low density eraser and just kind of chop at this a little bit, bring it down. Then I'm going to use a little razor tool here and smudge out some of this terrain to ease it into the lower lands. But yeah, I've been working on color mana spell point variant rules for D&D for like 7 years now. In the descriptions down below, there's a link to the color mana spell point variant rule bundle. All my books have 100% free preview. You never have to, if I publish the book, you never have to pay for it to look at it. It's difficult enough just to get people to consider third-party content, much less to paywall it. Screw you, Oofus. So yeah, check out the books. If you think they're cool and you want to support the project, buy some books. Follow me on Patreon if you want. Subscribe here. These are all great ways to support the growth of the channel and the effort and the dream to someday quit my corporate job so I can do this stuff full time with you guys. Like stream for 4 hours in the morning and then do like 4 hours of book design in the afternoon, and then run two tables a week for the hobby of D&D beyond the business of it. That's my dream. That's who I'd love to be. That's what I'd like to have. But we'll see if that's my fate. I have a good day job. I have no complaint about the work I do on the 9 to 5 Monday through Friday grind. It allows me the opportunity to have, to do painting like this in the mornings and to do game design in the evenings and help take care of my family. So I'm very appreciative of what I have, but we all have dreams. So cheers. Let's add in some texture here. I just want to play around a little bit this morning. I'm going to drop this brush down here. Let's go to our reference and grab off of that. There we go. That's a fun color. So let's just grab that and where are you at, buddy? Where you at? Huh. Oh, that's very, very close. Okay, so these are so close in grayscale that I actually didn't notice I was using pigment. I'm fully colorblind, so I don't see any color whatsoever. I have no cones in my eye. I am completely ill-equipped to see color. So I use photo references like this and color picker tools to see color for me. So that'll probably be good. Now we should, yeah, there we go. I can see that. So I operate only in contrast. And I trust from photographs that the colors that I choose for the contrast that I want in the piece, I trust that the colors are going to be correct to depict that contrast with, you know, colors I'm pulling out of the same terrain. So like this should be okay. And generally, you know, we can pan back and we can look at, you know, composition looks pretty good. I need more clouds up here, I think. But so far, composition is looking pretty good. I'm happy with it. So we're going to work on this. Yeah, this is what we're going to work on this morning. I'm really excited about today's playtest campaign, the Eberron Spelljammer Mecha Kaiju Bastion campaign. The team is investigating some petrified goats that there's been complaints or notification about, and the team suspects trouble, as one would when you find petrified goats. They're not actually petrified. They're frozen solid. They've gained the petrified condition, but in reality, they've just been frozen solid to the core. And the team has a menace of a Risia manifest zone in Eberron near the asteroid clusters that they're patrolling. And for those that aren't indoctrinated, Risia is the plane of ice and solitude in the Eberron cosmology. And in the when you're in this campaign that we're running, the moon we're basically adventuring among asteroid communities in orbit around Eberron. Eberron has 12 moons. They go out 250,000 miles away from Eberron. So there's basically like this 500,000 mile space that Eberron and all its moons occupy, and we've broken it down into 10,000 mile squares. And each square with this campaign, spelljamming speed, a major helm can go 1 square per day or 10,000 miles per day. So there's a massive area that could potentially hex crawl, but inside of one 10,000 mile cluster, one 10,000 mile space, there is a cluster of asteroid communities that is it's the player's home. And they are basically the police force, the sheriffs of the region. Piloting mecha to fight kaiju and having command of a major spelljammer ship, a dwarven citadel, which is like a 500-foot block of carved stone that acts as a carrier ship for their activities to move them from one asteroid community to another, and it deploys mecha to fight kaiju so that they can you can't just carpet bomb a kaiju from orbit when it's attacking a town. The level of collateral damage that you'll cause from your carrier ship is going to be equal or greater than that caused by the kaiju itself. So you deploy mecha at the 50-foot scale to be able to basically they have 20-foot mecha right now, and the largest kaiju they fought so far was 100 feet. So they can basically tromp around amongst buildings without destroying them while fighting and trying to lure a kaiju away from wreaking more havoc on that community. So fun times. It's a lot of investigation stuff, like strange occurrences that are above the pay grade of the local constables. So they have the characters arrive in their carrier ship and do the investigation themselves and draw conclusions while between kaiju fights, and then it's bastion system, so they can issue orders and take downtime activities amongst the various facilities in the different communities to be able to make magic items or research spells or to gather information about a topic that they're interested in or researching a new spell, blah, 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 make potions, all the things that bastions can do and more. Fun times. So that's basically how we break up the campaign. We break it up into downtime activity, issuing orders to bastions every bastion turn, investigation on foot, as well as dungeon crawling to clear out nests of kyber inside ore asteroids that the team has broken down at different refineries in the communities. The community that they're in is a mining refinery. Convenient. So when they find an asteroid that has ore in it, like valuable minerals in it, they can basically use their carrier ship to drag it to the refinery and get it broken down for ore and resources that they can then use to spend
on installing new facilities either on their ship or in one of the communities that they like to spend time in, and they're starting to kind of lock down where they want to do those sort of things. It's a gradual process of basically exploring the different communities and deciding where is the best place for them to like plant resources and stake claims in for role-playing purposes. And that's they've spent some time in Redstone, Scabbers Cove, Capital Rock. There's 3 other communities, but adventuring hasn't warranted them visiting yet. And quite frankly, that's a lot. There's a lot of communities and therefore a lot of facilities and bastions that are available to the players to tinker around with. And honestly, it can be overwhelming. I acknowledge that. If I had done this differently, I would have just started with one community with like one bastion so that they had a very small scope to deal with. And then as they expand their horizons as adventurers, we could incorporate more bastions and more facilities for them to interact with and to gain favor with, and to then utilize their resources to embellish or to commission with orders to create magical stuff for them or whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, but it is what it is. So I don't have any regrets. I'm just noticing for the future. Like when I run Strixhaven, like I'm planning on running a Strixhaven campaign in April, and when I do, I'll be implementing bastion facilities in the various Strixhaven colleges, and depending on how many college credits you have, quote unquote college credits, which is like renown, the higher level or the higher tier of facilities that that player will get access to. So if you're with Silver Quill, like that's naturally advancing black and white mana for you, and you'll have access to the Silver Quill facilities. But like if you're there to study, say, black and green magic, let's say you're there to study black and white magic, Silver Quill's an obvious fit. But there's also Witherbloom and Lorehold. Lorehold has white-red, Witherbloom has black-green. So if you're a white-black character, you might naturally align most with Silver Quill, but there's lessons to be learned from Lorehold and Witherbloom, so you can gain credits in a color. And as you advance your white and black mana, that will naturally give you access to the different facilities in all 3 of those colleges, because your color allows for it. Like if you've got, say, 15 renown in black and like 10 renown in white, then you can get access to second tier features of black and first tier features of white. And so the Lorehold would open up its halls, its first tier halls, to your character to be able to basically log in and research with. And then Silver Quill and would give you access to your first rank white facilities as well, and which would be different from Lorehold's. And then Witherbloom would give you access to your your second rank black facilities, as well as Silver Quill giving you access to the second rank black facilities. So you can work these things in tiers and get access to a bunch of things without actually having to maintain it yourself. You're a student there. They give you access to facilities that are appropriate for your credits. So it's actually a really intuitive system. In Lorehold, in Strixhaven, it's just the Strixhaven adventure itself is rather thin on excitement. And I'm a big D&D combat enthusiast. I like D&D combat. So I'm still thinking my way through, like, how is that campaign going to play out? What's the best way to do? And I've given myself plenty of time to get there. In the meantime, we're running this Mecha Kaiju campaign. They're going to investigate petrified goats today. We're onboarding some new players that are swapping in for some attrition that were happening, because every table has attrition. And so you got to be able to recruit to replace that attrition, and you got to make it open and friendly enough for people to want to, explore your game with you and see if they want to plant your flag at your table. So we're doing a ride along today with 2 new folk, and while the rest of the team has actual characters in the campaign, and as I said, are investigating petrified goats. So that's a 20-minute timer on my clock. I keep a timer going to make sure I stay track of time. I've got about an hour and a half, maybe. I'll probably go to like 8:30 this morning Seattle time. It's about 7:10 right now. So I'll go for another hour or so, see how we're sitting here. And then I'll log off and start prepping, getting ready, emotionally and mechanically ready for today's game. I've been DMing for 40 years, and I still get stage fright and jitters all the time. Always have the jitters. And sometimes when we're starting, I'm a little rough. But once I ease into it and I relax, it just becomes just an intuitive experience. Just me making calls and reffing shots and deciding how things play out. It's a ton of fun. And when you invest a lot of time into the hobby of D&D, you get to a place where you're pretty damn good at improvising. It's an incredible skill to acquire, quite frankly. And I'm really, really happy that life led me in this direction to do all these things. They're so fun. Let's do that. Just trying to add in some texture here to make this place look interesting. Let's pan back a little bit. That feels pretty interesting. Okay, cool. So let's go over here. And I think I want to get rid of some of this. Yeah, let's ease that down in here like that. Just tap it with the eraser for a little bit, just to create some texture and terrain in here. There we go. And we're going to have a cave mouth entrance here. Cave mouth entrance. So this edge work over here is going to be quote unquote off camera, but I want to build it out and get it right because it's important. Because I don't know how I'm going to rearrange the windows or if I'm going to scooch the layers around or anything, and it has to be able to hold up on its own. So I'm going to wear this down a little bit like that, I think. And then build up in here. Pull out this with some smudge. Yeah, we're just basically going to do terrain today. I do artwork like this Monday through Fridays in the mornings, about the same time as now. On Mondays and Thursday nights, I do game design for upcoming books for D&D. And on Saturdays, I do whatever I want. Sometimes we do game prep. Sometimes I sleep in. Sometimes I do artwork like this. Sometimes I do game design like Thursday. It just depends on what I want to, whatever the muse wants me to do. I will do. Saturday is a float day. I can do whatever. There we go. Go in here like that. Let's break this texture up a little bit in here. Dot that in, erase that a little bit. Actually, I'm going to take that back. We're going to leave this like that. Hey, I want to say thanks to the new subscribers that we've picked up this week. We're at 685 subscribers now. That is a new all-time high for our channel. I'm touched and flattered that so many people enjoy the stuff that we're doing here, that they're liking the art experience, that they're having fun with the game design stuff. Be welcome to join my Discord community. It's linked in YouTube down below. Happy to have you. What are you about? Hold on. Okay, I see you. Yeah, let's use that. Let's go into here. Pick at that a little bit. I'm going to erase on it some. Again, we're using stippled color and an eraser tool. Both are stippling our brush, stippling our eraser to create this rocky texture, this choppiness. and I can just layer it and then erase some of it to have the underlying painting poke through. And by having multiple layers of contrasting color and texture, it creates an interesting cascade of stone here. So good times. That's the endeavor. Let's get back into here. There we go. Let's build into here like that. And chop at that a little bit, and then a little bit more up in here like that, and then chop away at that a little bit. Yeah, I'm liking this so far. I mean, overall, the overall structure, I'm pretty happy with it. There's some interesting texture going on inside here. I think I'm going to darken this up in here a little bit. Just building shapes and just letting them slowly come forward and show us who they are. Do like that, and then we'll erase.
There we go.
Super fun to do. God, all this texturing. I've spent probably 10 hours at this point working on this mountain range, and it's a hell of a lot slower than what Bob Ross would do. But his tools are more versatile than mine, and he has the benefit on his show of having done like the painting you see on Bob Ross. That's the like the third or fourth or even fifth time that he's done that painting off camera. He's done it over and over again, so he knows the flow and how long it takes to do each piece, so that when he's live, he doesn't run into accidents and have a bad experience for us, the viewer. I'm doing this live. I haven't done this before, so I'm discovering the pitfalls and errors and stuff as we go, instead of doing this painting multiple times and then showing it to you as a presentation. This is just slow art in its rawest, roughest form of me just trying to succeed at making this painting work despite the odds. The odds are actually pretty good that I'm going to finish the piece. It's been, I mean, it's not impossible, but I've been pretty consistently completing pieces for like over, I don't think I've had any regrets with any painting that I've started for probably like 9 years, knock on wood. I don't want to start now, God willing, but I've had a pretty damn good track record of thing I start, thing I finish, move on to the next thing. It's been very, I've been very humbled by how well I've been carried through some of these art projects. They're not always easy. Yeah, I like that. That feels good. Let's go into here and grab up some of this. Texture that down a little bit. I'm going to go up the mountain a little bit here, but then fade it out so it blends in a little bit more. There we go. I'm actually going to erase this. And we'll erase some of that to ease that into the side of the mountain as well. There we go. I got no complaints yet about any of this. This is all feeling pretty good to me. Let's go down here, grab these, push these down into the hills. We're going to do another overpainting. I can just keep stacking up layers of paint until I get the texture and the contrast that I want on these mountains. I've got all the time in the world to make these things feel the way that I want them to feel. Meanwhile, in the background, I'm working on the layouts for this, and We finished the power chapter, which is like the spell casting chapter for the martial powers, and then I'll finish the artificer today and probably begin the barbarian. And it looks like it's going to work out that the cartographer and the spell list and the stat block from the steel defender are all going to fit within that space we have allocated for the hold on. For the artificer at the front end of the book. So is that clouds? That feels like clouds, or like a steam vent or something. Let's go over here and grab these colors. Yeah, these are like mud flats or like lava beds. Is that just huge red? No, that's a blue. Weird. But yeah, there's obvious mist and smoke coming off of this. God, that looks so cool. Let's stay up here and work with this color, and then keep this color in mind as well. I just feel like I want to have that up in here. Up in here. No, let's do like this. I'm going to chisel away at some of that. And then drop down here and follow these contours a bit and chisel away at that. And then follow the contours of the mountain up here like that. See, these tools do most of the work for me. I just got to point them in the right direction and let them dab as they do. There we go. God, that feels so good. Come on, buddy. There you go. See, it's got that same sort of... Is that just... Yeah, that's not steam. That looks so cool. Go up here like that. And again, we just want to ease and erase it down into the rock so that it becomes part of the texture, not an overlay. It's not like I'm not adding ice and snow to the top of this mountain. It's too low and hot for that. So these are just contours and erosion line work digging into the side of this rock. There we go. There we go. I can fill this in a little bit here like that, and then again back that down. It just becomes another ridge line in this rock mass, and I can push these down over here like that to help ease these into each other like that to get rid of some of that chop in there. Come over here and invade this space a little bit. There we go. Just erase that in. I mean, it looks, the closer you get, the more obvious the paint strokes become. But when you back out, it looks pretty solid. Let's use our eraser here and just chip away at this coloring we did here a little bit to cause that transition to ease a little smoothly across that land bridge there. There we go. And we'll adopt the color and the environment around it to help ease into it. There we go. There, like that. Just spending some time with it. You gotta put in the hours. You can't just You know, if I just want to prompt and snap my fingers and have a robot do it for me, where's my achievement? Where's my glory? Where can I point at and say I did this? Because it sure as hell ain't through a computer. There we go. Just ease that in. Nice. Hey, Gabby, it's good to see you. Shaped soap. Onyx says class team D20 shaped soap with full set of dice. Oh my god. A bar of soap, a D20 bar of soap. That's awesome. I mean, A, good morning, Gabby. 2, I can't fault you for that, sister. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? It's in the DM scent. Thunder Master's Scent is a blend of smoke, amber, sandalwood, and a hint of vanilla. It is complex and unique, just like the storyteller who leads you on adventures. Oh my god, that's sounds fantastic. I would accept DM soap in my shower. So good. Oh, I see. So you use the soap and you get the dice. Got it. I'd prefer. Well, I mean, dice are pretty sharp. You can make some pretty sharp edges on soap if you want to. I'm a little less impressed now, but nonetheless, soap dice is tight. I'm not here to yuck on your yum, though. I mean, you know, by all means. I'm gonna switch to the razor. Just play with that for a little bit. It's more blocky than the chisel here. This is my chisel and this is my razor. Fancy dice and soap. Yeah, no kidding, right? Respect to that, sister. Let's build out this texture over here. Is a little rough. So there we go. Sticking a little. There we go. Let's do like that. Feeling pretty good. I mean, this is the appropriate distance to actually view the mountain, and the texture feels pretty good at that distance. Has the Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. I hate when things go wrong like that. Not how you expect to spend your day with something going chaotic like that on you. Let's leave that rough. I like that texture. That feels pretty good. This is where I need to be right now. Drop that in there like that, and erase added a little bit just to break up the texture. And we'll come back in here and we'll add in a little bit more of that dark to help curve out the contours here before we cover it over again with another layer of texture, or another layer of pigment that we can then further texture is the right way to put that. I need a new dresser in my clothes. My other dresser. Ouch. Well, apparently something wants you to hang out in your dad's shop for a little bit then, huh? That's the obvious conclusion that I've drawn from this conversation. It looks like Gabby needs to spend some time in her dad's shop. Who knows what you'll find while you're there? There we go. Rough that up a little bit. Come on. There you go. Sometimes Photoshop sticks a little bit these days. That feels pretty good, but I think I want to come in through here and texture this up a little bit more. Break this down like that. There we go. Let's switch back to our chisel. I'm going to grab and I'm going to pull on these things with a little bit of smudge to smooth out the curve. And then we're going to erase that a little bit. And now I'm going to sample the color that we faded as an off shadow to further blend the rest of this hill. There you go. Like that. Break that down. Break that down. Flip this over and texture upward. Fade that in as well. Break that up with the texture. Let's add some highlights around in here. And then we erase on them. And then we add some more highlights in over here. And then we erase on them. And we pan out. Let's grab in here. Nope. Here. There we go. Nope. Here. There we go. That's the texture. Or that's the pigment that I wanted. And that's looking really good. It's not bad. This is not bad. I'm going to add another layer. Preserve the texture that we've just created, but to add another layer in on top of it for lighting. and to get rid of some of these artifact looks, like these little brush marks that you can see. If I blend them in a little bit, they become a little bit more obscured, and they turn from brush strokes into texture. That's... Come on. Scroll for me, buddy. Thank you. Not bad. Let's bumble dump across here. Bumble dump bum 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 bum. These mountains and hills form out of erosion, so we can use the lines, like the curve, like the edge of the line, and then the jagged teeth underneath it, to create those little like contoured rivulets that go down the side of the mountain to form all of this. And it should be more level at the bottom, like more smooth at the bottom than the top, because that's how erosion works. Here, let's break that shape up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I think that feels pretty good. I'm liking the composition so far. Let's just keep dotting this stuff in here like that a little bit. Again, it's a process. You just got to build up the pixels to a point of chaos that you appreciate. Nature can't be too structured. Unless you're talking like a fractal cauliflower or something. Those are incredibly structured. But for the most part, nature is pretty chaotic. So you want to have a sort of random, lackadaisical almost approach to it. To like just kind of let it do what it do is like a good, I guess, maxim to use in regards to the painting nature. It's just like, relax. Relax into it and let it do what it's going to do. I'm going to fill that in because that gap there felt unnatural. Which flattens everything, I know, but I think it's necessary. Oh, this almost looks like a hippopotamus in here. Here's his little ear. You see? And then you can see like his eye is here and his little nose is here, and here's his little hippo mouth. Hippo in the mountain. Hidden mountain hippos. Mountain hippos. What a terror. I'd be willing to put mountain hippos in my campaigns. Are you brave enough to do so yourself? The orc tribe dared not go into mountain hippo territory for fear of goring or, I guess you wouldn't, trampling. You wouldn't get gored by a hippo. It doesn't have any tusks. Susses. I'm thinking of rhinoceroses. Ooh, this is a good mass. Look at that. It's like a joint, like a knot coming out of it. That's sweet. Let's build that in here. Oh, wow, that feels really, really good. For some reason, I have the Land of the Lost theme song running around inside of my head. I don't know where that's coming from. I decided I'd share that with you so I don't have to carry the burden alone, I'm selfish like that. That feels really good. I like how this is sitting. Almost there. Stay on target, guys. And then we'll switch into the forest. We've already started working on the forest a little bit just to create some borders for us. But we're going to spend time on that forest as well to help get good texture and spacing and size for the individual trees that are in that forest. You know, we can see the trees. We can see the forest with its trees when we zoom in. It's a little chaotic. I think it's a little misshapen. So let's fill that gap in there with some mass. Erase that a little bit. Raise it up the side of the mountain. I want to have like this kind of curve effect happening here. Because when we bring in, here, check this out. When we bring in the mountains here, we've got this natural lip. And this whole structure here could almost like feel connected. So I want to mess around with that a little bit. That's what we're trying to do here is mess around with that a little bit. And then to that note, I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come up here like this. Let's go back down to here, to here. I mean, yeah, kind of. Hold on, let's add our cave back in here so we can see where our lines are at, right? I mean, yeah, that's pretty on point. Okay, carry on, Kearney. You apparently know what you're doing. Where are you coming from, dude? Hold on. I got this stray little chibit down here, and I don't want it causing trouble when it shouldn't. It's not forest related. Is it hills? Yeah. There it is. Thank you. Come on, buddy. There you go. I'm just gonna blend this down. Just for now, because I don't know what else to do with it yet. There we go. Build that up. I'm going to push this out here a little bit and then smudge this down here like that. Just to have it, just to blend it out. That's a little sharp. I want to wear that down a little bit. But the idea here is to transfer from background to foreground by means of the cave entrance. So technically this all curves out, right? And I've got a ping. All is right in my world. Very good. I'm going to take a sip of coffee here real quick. And I'm going to follow it with some water. Okay, I'm seeing some. I like this mid-ground here. But I feel I want to spruce it just a smidge. There you go. I'm having a little bit of a time delay here. you. Like that. Oops, I need a lower. I need a lower magnitude. I had 100% eraser. I need a lower magnitude, like around 30%, to get the sort of effects that I want. There we go. Then here like that. Bring this in here. There we go. I'm starting to get into to a game prep headspace. What is it? It's 7:45 now. Yeah, I've been at this for like what, an hour? 55 minutes. Okay, we'll play with this for a little while longer, but then I'm going to check out so I can start letting the pregame prep overtake me, like the panic attacks and the nervousness, and let that all subside. I don't want to do that here on screen, but I am going to have to go through that process. It's like I said, I get even after 40 years, I still get stage fright when I'm going to run a game, especially for new people. And it's starting to get hot in here already. I'm going to have to turn on the air conditioning. There we go. I'm going to break that up here with some of that, and then jump into here and go in here like this. Yeah. And just add on some of this here, just to again create just some extra shape and form. There, nice. This stuff just kind of magics way into space, and I just get to acknowledge it and like carve it away to reveal where it's at and discover it alongside you guys. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do while I'm doing this. It just kind of happens, right? And it happens through me. I'm not really directing or like really aiming at anything or even particularly wanting anything in this sort of process. So I like doing landscapes more than anything else, because I really just get to lose myself in the flow of creation. It's like there's nothing that's really picking at me, or no real objective other than make cool environment. You know, like that's a pretty open directive that allows me a lot of leeway to let my hands wander and just kind of fill in details as they go. You know, my hair's all weird. Anyway, there we go. I like how that's sitting. I don't think I need to do too much more with it. I'm going to actually fade this down a little bit. I'm going to fade this down a little bit too. I'm going to ease into this like that. On its own layer, so I can chop away at this added texture layer here without damaging any of the highlights that we've already built for the region. There we go. Timely timer, keeping time. Yeah, I got 20 minutes left. We'll play it out. We'll do it for another 20. do a little bit of this. There. Thin that down a little bit. Good. Soften that up a little bit. There. Fade that in. Let's just merge those layers together just for the lulz. There, let's get rid of the cave mouth so we can see where our mountains are going and doing. Let's push this in. I'm just pushing pixels right now. Just pushing them into the space. Again, the cave mouth is going to cover most of this. I can come over here like this and like dab, dab, dab. That feels pretty good. Let's drop that down into the background. Now we can go over here in this mid-rock. %. Switch to our cloud brush, which is the best at just smudging, like raw smudge. There. At some point, you gotta call it something done, like the painting itself, or just even a component of that piece. In this case, I'm thinking the mountain range. For now, it's just done. It feels good where it's at. I don't think I need to mess with that anymore. I'm just going to blend this landmass down so that it can become useful to us again in the future while establishing, for now, some pretty gentle borders. Oops. How is that mouse sitting? There we go. Nope, 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 nope. Yep. How far so? Let's do that instead. Yeah. And let's just fill this in. See, we're making a nice little frame here with the mouth, the cave entrance, the mouth of the cave. There we go. Mary had a little lamb. Sorry, I've got corn in my head for some reason. That just kind of came out. go. Nice, smooth blending.
This ultimately won't matter, but it's an opportunity for me to mess around with gradients and improve my skill set. I've got probably 20,000 hours worth of artwork under my belt over the past 40 years. And that's like only 500 hours a year. That's like an hour and 10 minutes per day. That's nothing. I've got 20. I'm certain I have at least 20,000 hours at this point. But anyway, it's the point is that this is helping to again further define the space that the mountains, the forest, and the clouds are in within this frame of the actual cave entrance. And then we have the Etten fighting the heroes in the cave itself. So this is all curving out very, very nicely here. I'm just going to blend this in a little bit more, bring this down like that. That should be good. Let's go with round solid. There you go, buddy. Good blend. Just a bit more. Okay, so that piece feels pretty good. Now we can start moving down into the forest, I think. Here's how we were originally. And then I added in a layer here, very just mild layer here along the top edge. And then we started filling in a little bit more tree down here, but I chose to back down the dark. Let's go to the funny number 69. There we go. I go to a more mid-tone. I think that feels a little bit more relaxed. How are we doing here? 8:15. It's 8 o'clock. What are we doing this for? An hour now? I don't know. Maybe that's all I wanted. We'll do a little bit of trees. We're here. Let's just do some tree work, and then we'll move on. So I think I'm gonna drop this up. Drop it up. Yeah. Let's put it at a 90%. There we go. 90% tree darkness. That helps create a nice break. This can go, so let's grab this brush and push down how far those trees are popping off the tree line. We want to keep that shit under control. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, cool. Let's do this right. Grab that. There's my green. Take this back down to 90-ish. Trees.
More trees. So this is a tree brush that we have. All my brushes are on my Patreon, which is linked down below. Anyone is welcome to swing by and just grab the toolkit, the paintbrushes that I use. If you want them, you can have them. No paywall, but if you want to tip a buck or something, join my Patreon for a month just to say thank you. I would not mind that. I'm not going to fight that idea, and I appreciate it if you decide to endeavor in that direction. But I just want to make these tools available to people. Again, it's just you use the tools. If they added value to your life, consider buying them. Nope. There we go. So by doing layers like this, we can have you've got 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, 4 layers. And now we're starting in on a 5th layer. It's building these rows and columns in this collective of trees that are all jumbled together. And by stacking up the stippling method that we're using, it sort of imposes this idea of mass. Go with a lighter eraser, around 30%, 20. We got 20% up there. And that helps trim the base of this forest down, so it helps create another layer. There's that. And hey, Zeph, what's going on, my dude? I know, right? Yeah, it really helps push back the composition. It's a decent mid-ground. And if I can get there we go. Decent mid-ground. It's a little thick, a little heavy-handed right now, I think, but again, we're going to push out the lip of this cave out to here. So it's really just going to give a shock of green in here to push those mountains back, add some space inside of what's turning out to be a kind of an interesting little valley. And then once we add the combatants back in, this contrast here will help with highlighting the jumping hero, the hammer impacting, the force shield, and then this poor rogue up here is just absolutely just getting grappled and bashed around. But this should set that up well, and we can even have positioning of rocks in here, so the Etten is pushing off of it. Anyway, I think it's going to end up looking decent. It's kind of cut, it's a little on the nose, a little straightforward as far as heroes attacking an Etten goes, but I have no regrets right now about this. Let's bring this around here, give her a tilt. There, and this would justify that's a little bit too tilted. She's losing the lunge and entering into hurled territory. So there we go. That'll go like that. I think that should fit fine. Actually, potentially dip. No, I want to have her break the horizon line there. That way, I can have any color that I want on her skin, and it'll help show. This guy's probably the weakest right now, the weakest art. I like how this one is sitting with his arm caught, and again, his head here, and he has to try to break free. That'll be a fun little struggle to depict over here. This Etten looking at him, and this Etten concentrated, maybe this Etten's looking up here, recognizing, oh, there's an imminent threat in my face. I'm going to have to deal with that, while not really paying attention to what happened with this hammer. That's the idea. We're going to change his pose around probably, but I like how that's all sitting, and all this contrast in here is going to allow us to open up to use all sorts of different color, but it's going to be dark in here. So we want to have highlights from the external. We want this to pour through like this in a highlight sort of way, so that we have this open space that we can add in some shadow here to help show how dark it is. But by making it dark here to the back, it'll blend into the title strip we have here at the bottom to make that fade in together. And then we have the top of the mountain of the cave entrance here, which will just naturally bleed into the black of the title dressing framework. That's not unusual for compositions like this that I build for book covers. Oh, I see what you're doing. Like have this leg forward, and then have this other leg like be back like that. I could see that. Yeah, like I said, I'm open to playing around with the pose. So the original idea was to have him off balance, but I don't think it's reading properly. Yeah, having him lean into a strike here and then have like the leg back here like that will probably feel, yeah, that I can already feel how much more dynamic that is. Like here, good call, Def. Like basically like this. Something along those lines. Okay, got it. Yeah. And now this is coming across a little bit more like this. We got our heads here and head here. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. We'll play with that. I think there's something to it. Like maybe having his leg kicked out like this, and then over here like that, or I don't know. We're gonna play with that. I think that's definitely worth. But for now, let's continue working on our force here, and we can see we have this ledge here, so we actually don't need to do that many layers of forest. But we're probably going to anyway, just because it's a skill set that we're developing. So let's keep on keeping on, shan't we? Let's up the size of our brush and bring that in here. Kind of mild, isn't that? There, that's a little bit more pronounced. I'm just going to do that initially. And then let's see about grabbing the same brush. I'm just grabbing and smudging upward to create basically these shoots. And we bring them down a little bit, and then on the back and down here, again, we're just going to erase and fade them a little bit. So now we can reverse the, shoot, that didn't work right. Here, and then we can bring the shoots down, and then we can bring them up again if I can keep my lines straight. That. Not bad. And then we'll erase down here to get rid of the base. There's not much to them, but when you group them up in mass, it starts to accumulate. I'm going to drop down the opacity a bit there. And we ended up destroying most of it, but it only took a moment for us to do that. So the trick then is to layer this over and over again so it builds up. So we're going to add another layer, and we're going to do more layers over and over again. So again, just grabbing some blocks here and not doing too much at a time. Thank you, Timely Timer. Yeah, I got another 20 minutes. Let's do this for another 20 minutes. We might get close to finishing the forest in another 20 minutes. So let's grab this and then bring that down. Again, up and down, up and down, and then we erase at the base. Then we'll drop the opacity a smidge. And then we'll add another layer. Erase at the bottom a bit here to get the line, the contour coming around. There, that feels really good. There, and now we'll drop the opacity a smidge. Not a lot, it's just adding in layers, just slowly but surely. Indeed. And we'll erase at the base here a little bit. And just pull on it a little bit so we can keep some of that texture in there. And then we'll, again, erase here a little bit, a light touch erase, the blend. And then we'll drop the opacity a smidge just to take some of the edge off. There we go. There. And then again, we'll erase at the base here. I don't think I need that one. There we go. And erase a smidge. Having some control issues this morning with Photoshop. It's being a little hiccupy on me. Well, what happens if I grab this and I just change its layer and then bring it down? Grab and pull, just a little hint of grab and pull. There we go. And then we erase at the bottom a little bit here to take the bottom. Look how good that tree line just looks. It just magics itself in. The technique is so simple. The brush does most of the work, honestly. I just know how to manipulate the brush. And again, these brushes are free for people on my Patreon, which is linked down below. Be welcome to grab a set, and if you want to kick me $1 worth of membership for the effort, you're certainly encouraged to do so, but you don't have to. Just pick up these tools and play along. I make them for you to use. Where so I don't have to do a lot more, but I'm going to do more. Let's actually, yeah, let's grab this. Let's go a dark, a burst of dark. Oops, that's on top of the light. I need a separate layer. Doing a lot of layers here. They're gonna stack up, but that's okay.
And my mouse is frozen, so we're going to take a sip of coffee. 1 sip of coffee, 2 sips of water. That's how you can stay hydrated and caffeinated. All right, add these in here like that. And again, the same technique. We're just going to lightly erase at the base here to get rid of the bottom. And we've got a large brush here. We're going to tap and then just pull a little bit so that a lot of the texture remains in place, but it elongates it so it looks like shoots. And there you go. That's super easy trees, like in 3 steps. Barely an inconvenience. Let's put some more in over here. And overlaps like this, like where this is at, these overlaps are good because it causes different densities in the terrain of the forest. Same technique, we'll erase at the bottom a bit to have it fade into the undergrowth. And we'll grab and just pull, not a lot, just at the top, so that some of that underlying texture remains poking through the next layers of perspective. Erase up over here just to ease those in. Wow, you're not supposed to be there. There. Now for another layer. I've switched colors, so let's see how that goes. We'll tap, 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 and then again we erase at the bottom to get rid of just to have it ease into the terrain. We tap and smudge, tap and smudge, tap and smudge. There. Now we'll erase a little bit more. I'm going to erase up here. Erase all of that. And we'll drop the opacity a snitch. And that's not so bad. So let's add on another block here. Again, we'll erase at the bottom to make it fade into the undergrowth, and then tap and smudge, tap and smudge, tap and smudge. There we go. Getting close. Drop in another layer. I think we can tolerate another light color here. I'm going to increase the size just a smidge. Again, erasing at the undergrowth. And then just grab and tug. There. Erase at that. Yeah, hell, this looks good. So let's again we'll delete the base a little bit to cause it to fade into the undergrowth. It's a lot of repetition, but it's a forest. There's a lot of repetition in the trees. There's a lot of trees, so this is an easy way to mass produce those numbers by layering these brushes this way. It becomes an exercise in generating texture. And letting, again, you want the eye to do the work for you. You hint at what the structure is, and then the eye projects that idea to the rest of the piece. So we'll switch up the color again here now. Let's get our twist in. Come on, buddy. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this dark being here, when we go through the same process, the spaces in between the darkness is actually negative space, but it's poking through. So the lines that we build, in some instances, will just feel like shadow between trees that we see further ahead and behind. So we're actually, by striating these dark light, pockets like this, it tricks the eye into thinking, where are the trunks and where is the foliage? And it just kind of melts together. It's not that your eye doesn't believe it. It's not a matter of tricking the eye in that sense. In this instance, it's just providing a large enough amount of texture detail that your eye just kind of gives up. It's like, yeah, I get it. That's fine. It's a fucking forest. Whatever. Let's move along. Like, that's where you want your brain to get to the point. It's like, yeah, I get it. This is a forest. And be done with it. Like, I don't care anymore. I believe you. It's a forest. It's like, great. That's all I was trying to get consent from you from. Because now I've sold you on the forest, and you'll acknowledge the size of the trees. That allows the rest of the train to get pushed further back. It's like, if these are the trees and that's a forest, then, well, okay, well, that's what your mountains are like, further and further back. Like, that's the illusion that we're attempting to generate here by using again, this light eraser causes all of that texture just kind of blend into the mass. And we have just this little pocket here that we need to fill in. So I'm just gonna keep working on this for a little bit, just for the lulls of it, right? I'm not in a hurry. This is a good space to be in right now. Yeah, I'm gonna grab that. I'm just gonna pull up a little bit. There we go. And erase, erase, erase. Just fade that in.
Are the trees going to push all the way up to the cave? I imagine a pathway or a slight open field adventures to get there, or
one of the larger monster uses. I'm thinking about like a tree here to give a sense of proportion. Something like that to have crawling around the side of the tree. Haven't sorted it out yet, but that's yeah. Right now I don't have to worry about that. Right now I'm just filling in the forest, and then once we hit the actual cave line here, we'll be able to see like having something in here to break up this negative space might not be a bad idea, because there's going to be this empty pocket here of basically, like, even if we rearrange the footwork and the posing for this, generally this is going to be an empty pocket. So having something like a tree here, and then like a tree here, that would help inform the rest of this forest down here. So that's kind of where I'm thinking right now. Yeah, and this is looking very parallel. It's not exactly parallel, but it's not sharp. It's not a strong angle like this mountain is here or here. But overall, the mountains are kind of level, right? Like it's level to canvas. So I need something to break that up and create an angle, right? So probably the best way to do that is like to stick in a tree or two over here. So again, but we're just gonna build these things up in the order of back to front. So and then if we need to, we can work between those layers to fill in gaps, like in the armpit and stuff like that. Great question. I'm gonna make this even bigger.
Uh-uh. No, I'm gonna fade that down. Just fade it. There. A little bit like that. Feels pretty good. There. I don't like you either. It's a lot of layers we got stacking up here, y'all. But it's necessary. We're getting close enough to the camera that I don't need to break this texture too much. Just grab, I misaligned that again. Just a little bit of a smudge, hardly any at all, like a centimeter. That's it, just a break. But we're close enough to the camera, like this little, like these little pockets in here. They're becoming visible at this stage, and that's important. That's intentional. I want to have that level of definition there, because as we move further back into the forest, we're going to lose that. So further closer here, that's valuable texture. Although I believe it's going to get covered by the cave. Yeah, it'll ultimately be covered by the cave. In the end, it doesn't even matter. I tried so hard to get so far, but in the end, it never really mattered. You know, one thing I don't know why, it doesn't even really matter how hard I try. Keep that in mind as I remind myself of this time that I tried so hard. Sorry, some Linkin Park there for you.
Get Phil a new PC that processor working overtime.
Maybe. I've got 22 RAM. It's an i7 generation Intel, so it's a little aged, but it's 2025 that I think is the problem. I think 2025 is using more CPU usage than what 2022 did, and honestly, I'm not seeing the reason. I'm like the improvement. I don't feel it. No. There. Yeah, I'm not a fan of upgrading tech. Like, if it'll work, it works. I don't need the hot newness, right? I don't need stupid expensive RAM right now either. I think the machine works pretty well. Let's add another layer. I'm going to stick with dark for it. God, that feels really good. Just this little patch in here, if I fill that in, this forest is going to be feeling really, really good. I'm going to drop that down, scooch it over a smidge. There we go. Like, I don't even, at this point, I don't even need to pull on the wisps at the top. Although I will for a few just to help break frame. But this block, I don't feel like I needed to in this block. I'm sticking with the dark for now. That's working. But I'm going to increase the size. And do the fade here. So far, so good. So what? Smudge brush.
that green in. Let's go. There you are. Nope. There, and who knows where this one came from. Just feels good. Let's for this last bit, let's grab a different texture. What's going on? Oh, I'm too close. Like, why brushy, no worky? Ooh. Nope. I want to keep the green. There. Let's see how this goes. There we go. Raise that up a little bit. And I think there. That's feels pretty good to me. It's a nice little piece. I like that. So let's do some cleanup down in here. Erase in here. I can actually bond these. Oh, we have these highlights up front here, and how are they in comparison to down here? About about the same level of saturation. I think I'm okay with that. Actually, I have a trick to that. There we go. just a small little drop. Yeah.
Hey, not sure it's necessary, but done right, I think it could look decent. I'm wondering if those clouds could surround the mountains a bit to help with scale also.
Yeah, I wanted to mess actually the clouds is the next thing I wanted to mess with. So I wanted to add in a little more like we got this going here. Like this is the illustration that we've been using as a reference, and this actually has like clouds brushing in across over the terrain. Nothing here is, to me, is indicating like that this is lava currently. Though it looks like it has like a lava sort of feel to it, but the clouds themselves are still bluish the way they ought to be. So I'm not getting a volcano sort of feeling, but this feels very highland. So I do want to play with that a little bit. I'm going to actually grab here, and I'm going to grab down here. And yeah, again, you are like right in the headspace that I am thinking about. I love that. So let's go fold up the forest. We'll go back to our sky. We'll open our sky up. So here's just the actual atmosphere. And then here's the white clouds that we brought in so far, but I think I want to have another layer here because I'm seeing like striation up here. Like we're seeing layers of lighter and darker, and I think I want to play with that a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it right or not, but yeah, let's see where that was. Switch to our cloud brush. Just gonna dot some in here for now. And then Bob Ross style, we're just going to do some little circles here just to blend and take away those edges. We've got an 80% strength is a little bit too strong. I think 50 will do the job better. There, that's 50% smudge. Get rid of the bottom here so it just blends into the sky a little bit better. And if those clouds want to wander off screen, that's their business. Drop that in here like that. And a light eraser here to pull at that so I can push that back into the background a little bit more so it's not as level. And now we're going to tinker with the idea of mountain. That's too dark.
We're going to lighten the opacity by smudging it out into the other atmosphere around it. Meh. This is a separate layer, so the mist that we added won't be interrupted. And then this has like a real Hawaii sort of feeling to it. Like like the Honolulu mountains and just the moisture that collects around them. I like that. Merge that down, and then let's drop the opacity a little bit again. And then add on another layer and do that highlight again. Add that up a little bit more. I think I like that. But do I duplicate that over yonder? No, I don't. What I do is we'll go with back fog. And then we'll do foreground fog like this. I can definitely overdo it, but having a little bit, I think, makes a lot of sense. There we go. I'm actually concentrating. You can tell because I stopped talking. I blame you, Def. I'm going to actually... Huh. Huh. Yeah, I'm going to let that be. Worthwhile though. Yeah, great suggestion. I'm really enjoying this. There. And why, people would wonder, am I listening to Def's suggestions? Because Def's ideas of composition very often align with my own. Like, he and I often will come to the same conclusion about a piece I'm working on, like, at the same time. Like, it'd be good to, like, have a thing over there, or, like, filling that space with a whatever. Like, often, I wouldn't say, like, all the time, but an unusual amount of times we've been aligned in that thinking, like, in the same moment. So I just have learned to trust Def. He's got a good eye for composition. His sensibilities and design are very similar to mine. And after you connect with somebody like that a number of times, it just becomes a state of like, yeah, I was kind of thinking that too. It just gets into that space. Nah, you don't. But I mean, I think you identify like when I'm being daunted by a challenge, like you can. I think you catch me, like my existential dread of God. I gotta do this thing. Like, you should probably do a thing there. It's like, God damn it, yes, I should. It's actually really funny. I don't have a lot of people with that level of rapport on the work that I do. I outperform most people I know in creating art. So it's not. I don't have like in my own my own friend group. I don't have any real peers. I am like the standout for like art production. It's good to find other people of similar quality and stature to bounce off of. There we go. Okay, I need another layer for both of these. That will get rid of that hard edge of that back contour. Like that. And then another one here. Got to break those up. There. Come on. There we go. Sticky today. It's just sticky. Yeah, I think we're in a good space. I am really fucking loving this thing, man. This is good.
I'm happy with it. That's a huge compliment. And hell yeah, man.
I am happy with this composition. This tree line is a little static, But I think bringing in the mountain here, it doesn't feel so static once the mountain comes in for some crazy reason. The lines here going flat across like this helps add a feeling of motion with that forest there. And I might end up backing off, like maybe I don't know, I would take the mountain, maybe we bring it down a little bit to show off a little more of that forest. Something like that, perhaps. But yeah, this is a good place for us to stop. So we're going to continue this illustration on Monday morning. Monday night, we're going to continue with game design. I think we're going to work on magic gear on Monday night. I think that's what we're going to do, building magic items. And so we'll be illustrating this in the morning. Yeah, this is feeling pretty good. I'm actually gonna take a hot second here, since we know where this is gonna go. I'm going to take the black of this. I'm going to actually, for now, conceal our references. There we go. Let's build that out. There. Something like that. There we go. Yeah, this is going to end up being an interesting composition. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I like how this is all sitting right now. So we'll probably bring down, like, where'd my mouse go? There we go. This will probably come down more like this. And again, this would be a decent spot for some tree action going on up here. Maybe not that aggressive. Maybe more like this. But just a little something to hint where we're at. And there's the indication that the light's coming in from this direction. So having this highlighted while this is in shadow creates an interesting juxtaposition of lighting there. This is good. Yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to turn out really, really nicely. That's it. I'm going to cut out of here, guys. I'm going to go do some game prep. Yeah, it's almost 9 o'clock. I got to bounce out of here. I will see you guys on Monday. Cheers.